Hey, this is Brady from SSW, and today I want to show you something cool I built with AI, and I think you'll like it because it's probably not what you're used to when it comes to AI solutions. So let's jump in and take a look. First, let's look at SSW rules. Now, these are all of SSW's best practices that we've documented and put on this site. Now, there is a lot of these, 3,500 nearly. We've got so many rules. We've got them sorted into categories. And if we go into one of these categories, we'll see there's a bunch of rules in them as well. So there's 31 in here. Now, we want all these rules to be Googleable because we want people to discover them. And there's lots of ways to improve pages' Googleability. It's called SEO. Um, and we want to improve our SEO. So one of the problems we found recently is if we look at the inspector, we can see in the head of this page, we've got a description. Now, this description is called the SEO description, and basically, search engines will use this to see what your page is about, and sometimes it's used at the summary on Google search or Bing search in your search results. So it's a pretty important piece of content that you should have on every page. And we learned that it's also important to make sure these are unique on every page. So let's check if we're following that rule right now. So right now, this is the home page, and it's saying SW Rules provides best practices for developing secure, reliable, and efficient solutions. Okay, that makes sense for the home page. Let's jump into a category. Check it again. It's the same. That's not good. Let's jump into a rule. And it is also exactly the same. Okay, so there's our problem. We have the same meta description on every single page, all 3,300 rules, but also every category page as well. So we need to get that fixed. So, how do we fix that? Well, obviously, we need to go back and add a description to all the old rules. Now, you're probably thinking 3,500 rules, have fun with that. No, I won't have fun with that. I'm going to get some help from AI. So, there's lots of ways to do this. The idea we originally had was to use ChatGPT and make a request to the ChatGPT API for every rule to get a good description. Now, this would probably work for one or two rules, but for 3,000 plus, that would take a long time and could get expensive. The OpenAI API is not free. So the solution is not ChatGPT. We need to find something else that we can use instead. ChatGPT is my go-to toolbox for solving problems with AI using the OpenAI API. But recently, I've been learning about running large language models, LLMs, locally on my own laptop. And this opens up some pretty cool possibilities. You can download a model, then you can fine tune it to behave exactly how you want it, and you can teach it new things, and you can do some pretty cool stuff. And it all happens locally on your machine. So offline, you could turn your Wi-Fi off, and it would behave the same, and you're not talking to someone else's API. So it's pretty cool. And Ollama makes it really easy. You can just click download and then pick a model you want to play with. I'm using Llama 3. It's from Meta, and it's very capable. It's 5 gigabytes as well. So it's pretty big, but it does lots of cool stuff. And I'll show you how easy it is. Once you've got Ollama and your model installed, you can just copy this command here, go to a terminal and paste it in, run it, wait for it to wake up, and then we've got a chat experience in our terminal. talking to a LLM running on our machine. It's really cool. So how do we make gluten-free pizza? Well, there's a recipe, and look how fast it is. It's definitely faster than ChatGPT, probably because it's all happening on my machine. And I can ask it something random like how to juggle knives. And it knows exactly how to do that. Cool. All right. So that's great. But how do we use this to solve our problem? Well, let's take a look at our solution. So this is the rules repository cloned onto my machine from GitHub. And we can see the folder here full of rules. I can scroll for a while. I'm never going to hit the bottom though. There's so many. So we'll close that folder. And I'll show you the script I've written. So it's in the scripts folder, and then generate SEO descriptions. So I can see a README, a bash script, and a prompt.txt. Let's just look at the bash script. So there's a function up here, but let's skip that for now. Let's look at the entry point. So the first thing it does is gets a directory from the parameters of your command. So that will be the command, the path to your markdown files. So basically, you give it a path, and we're going to give it the /rules folder now, and we'll get it to iterate over every markdown file in that directory, MD or MDX file, to read the file, and then check if it has a description. If it already has one, we don't care. We can skip it. That's great. If it doesn't have one, we need to generate one. So it'll use this function here. Let's take a look at how that works. So it will get the file content, and then it opens up this prompt file, which is here. And the reason I've got this separate is just so your prompt and your code is separate. I think that's important because editing the prompt is something that developers will do a lot, but also non-developers can do that as well. Anyone can be a prompt engineer. So they might want to play with this prompt and improve it. So it's good to have that in a separate file where you can modify it and then run the script again. So it opens up that file, reads it. Looking at the prompt, it's pretty simple. I just explain the goal and I outline what makes a good SEO description. Then I reiterate some of the things because I use uppercase as well, because sometimes that's the only way to get it to listen. You have to shout at it. And then I've got the content below. So there's this little separator. Then the script will insert the file content behind that. So pretty simple. Let's run it. Let's see how it works. So I'm just going to find the command that I've run earlier. I might have to type it out. Bash. There it is. So you can see I'm passing it /rules. So it's going to iterate over everything in there and then come to this function. And you can see here, this is the most important step. We're saying Ollama run, just like we did in my terminal, llama3, and then give it the prompt with the file content. So that's good. And I'm going to press enter in my terminal and run the script. See what happens. Processing. Great. Oh, done already. So it did one rule, then another one, and it's going. Cool. All right, so that's pretty quick. And I can see the Git changes are slowly going up. Went from 3 to 6. And if I open it up, it'll probably refresh again. There's 9. All right, so let's check out our descriptions. So we can see it's done a good job. It's created the front matter field correctly. And we've got a nice short one sentence description for our search engines to read and understand the content. So this rule is about VSTS and PATS. The description seems pretty relevant. That's good. Let's check another one. What's this about? Do you use Slack as part of your DevOps? It's archived, but the SEO description seems relevant. It talks about all the different integrations you can get with Slack. And let's check one more. All right, do you use emojis on Dynamics labels? This is a Dynamics CRM one. And it's saying add a tooltip to Dynamics labels using emojis on the label to remind users to hover and see the note. That's cool. Yeah, it gathered the meaning of the rule and summarized it in a nice little description. I think that's really cool. And look, it's already up to 36. So to get this job done, all I would have to do is let this script run for a couple hours and it'll fix up all the rules. And it's doing this all on my machine. No APIs needed. It's just running locally and it'll be free. It's not going to cost me anything to do this job. So that's great. I'm really excited that now I can automate tasks using AI without the need for the ChatGPT API. That's a huge step and it's really exciting. I'm glad I've got this tool in my toolbox now. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.